Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dive Jump, where we jump into diving. Mr. Hammer, thank you very much for taking very, very late at night to talk to us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
That's a cool shirt, man. Today, we are talking about dive accidents. So, I'm going to start with this. What is the worst dive accidents that you heard about, or you know about, or people usually talk about?
Well, the worst diving accident is when somebody is finishing the dive and dies. Uh,
Excellent. I mean, not excellent. I mean, bad, but
yeah,
yeah.
this
So
is
that's what
this is the
usually people
worst
talk
thing
about.
that could happen. And usually, the worst thing that could happen is you rip your lungs. You know.
I think that I'm gonna put this in two buckets. Okay, two different sides of the world. One of them is there are the rare but horrible accidents, and that's the tension pneumothorax, where you can rip your lungs on the way out up. Decompression, like the severe decompression where you're coming out, or like the O2 toxicity when you're drowning essentially. You have convulsions and you're drowning, or you're trying to puke underwater, and the regulator comes out, and then that's what drowns you, not like because of the O2. So I mean, or, I don't know, a shark comes and eats you. So those are the big ones that are rare. They do happen. They are rare and they are horrible. I mean, life-ending, life-altering. You either come out dead or you're very close to it, right?
I think that the really rare uh, accident or accident that happened because of problem in the gear or problem with equipment. I think that you should know that most of the accident happened because somebody did a mistake.
Uh,
It's important to understand that.
let's hold on. So also when it comes to gear, when you say gear, there's two types of gear. There is rebreathers and there's open circuit. In rebreathers are sketchy, man.
We're
They
talking
could.
about scuba diving right now. We're not talking about
Okay,
the
so for OC, I will take the crappiest regulator, put it on a tank with the worst BCD that you know you've ever heard of, and it'll probably be okay. Probably the gear.
that's what I'm saying. That usually it's very rare to hear that I don't know something happened that somebody uh, got you a tank that is full of smoke from a grill. You
Yes.
know,
I mean, look, it happened in Eilat, right? Six people got CO carbon monoxide.
CO1 breathing, and they had problems in the water, but everybody survived,
Everybody
and
survived.
it's really rare, really
It's
really
very
rare.
rare. I mean, when it happens, like when a tank explodes or I don't know, something like that, you hear about it in the news. I mean, it makes national news, not just like, scuba diving things. When like, I mean, I think recently in Egypt, the biggest problems have been the liveaboards catching fire, right? There's been like six or seven of them in the last 3 years that have just caught fire.
I'm just
Um,
surprised they didn't accuse the Israelis of
I,
burning their
the,
vessels.
the Mossad.
Yeah,
Look, so
the
I
Mossad
think
sent sharks to eat people.
I think that the those kind of big things, and it's weird because look, Egypt is, I mean, millions of people go diving there. I mean, it's the one thing you go to do in Sinai is to go diving, and those boats. I don't even know how many liverboards there are there, but there must be dozens. And so
Totally.
I think again, when you look at the numbers, it's relatively rare that something happens to you because the gear. Usually, it's a mistake that you did. And the big life or death situations are rare. They don't happen because of gear. They happen because you did something stupid. You didn't watch your air. You didn't watch your time. You didn't watch your whatever. Or I know of at least. So I have a couple of friends who work at recompression chambers around the Caribbean, and I stay in touch. And they say that by far the number one thing that gives you an undeserved hit. So that means you come out, computer says you're clean, right? Clean computer.
Yes.
The number one, what do you think is the number one occurrence? I'll tell you in a second, but what do you
Reason
think?
of people getting into the
People
recuperative chamber
undeserved,
because of
undeserved,
okay, because
undeserved.
and they have like situation that they have the compression. It's
Yeah.
probably alcohol, probably drinking beers at night.
Dehydration.
Well, this would get you dehydrated. Drink a lot of beer after.
Number one reason. And by the way, I think that the opposite is true. I have no data to back this up. Did no experiments on this whatsoever. But I think that the number one way to avoid a deserved hit, meaning you know you did something wrong, you're coming out with a locked computer, or you have way exceeded what you're supposed to do, is hydration. Good hydration. If you drink a lot throughout water throughout the day, you have a higher probability of surviving a dive that you shouldn't, especially when it comes to decompression, than if you were not drinking enough.
Definitely.
Okay, so those are big accidents. I've never seen a tension pneumothorax. I've seen one tank explode one time. Um, and it's because of the dumbest thing. It wasn't because it was filled wrong or anything. Someone left it on the concrete, and it goes boop. It fell on the valve. The valve opened, made a lot of noise, and then there goes the tank. $150.
Well, whatever happened to a tank that explode,
Yeah,
whenever you hear a tank that explode, it's not out of the air. Somebody messed up with doing the check. The
the
you
visual
have a
inspection,
date.
the height. Yeah, yeah.
You have a date on this thing. If you did not do the visual or the hydrostatic check on time, that's what's supposed to avoid this kind of
I I think
thing
you're
to
right.
happen.
I think you're right. I mean, like
And
we
if you
said,
let it fall, of course it's something happen, Don't let it fall.
so do we even consider that a dive accident? No, it's the tank
No.
fell, and but I consider dive accident is when something happens to a person, not gear, a person. So you broke your computer, that's not a dive accident. Or the computer
Okay.
flooded, not a dive accident.
We
A
had
light
many
flooded,
we had many
anything.
times that an O-ring breached in our tank underwater, and we lost a lot of air, and it wasn't a dive accident. We got
Exactly.
out of the water fine and healthy. It was a shorter dive, and but we had a problem, and we
But
survived it.
that's why we have emergency procedures to take care of these problems. Like we practice what happens. I mean, that's why in the first open water class you learn how to donate an octopus. Even no, not with the long hose, not doubles, not anything. Even with single tank, like single tank open water diver. So the big accidents we said are rare. They don't happen because of gear. You can cheat decompression with hydration. That's just me saying. But you will get decompression. You will get a hit if you are dehydrated, even an undeserved hit. And I don't think that's even that controversial of an opinion. The smaller things are the ones that really can kill your entire. They're not going to kill you, but they're going to kill your dive vacation. You spent $2,000 to fly to some place, to get on a boat, to with all the gear and everything. You spend a lot of money, and then you drop a tank or a weight on your big toe, and it breaks the toe, and now you can't walk. These are sensitive. Most people have sensitive bones in your foot. You can't drop a weight on your foot. So sometimes you get a grapefruit sized bruise, big black and blue, but you can still kind of fit it into the fin, and because you paid a lot of money, you're gonna power through it, and you're gonna have a story. But just cutting something, I've done this to myself. I was on a liveaboard. On the second day of the liveaboard, I was cutting lemons or something, in the kitchen, and I sliced the finger right here, like a nice, one of those nice ones. And I had to like dive like this for the rest of the vacation because for like 3 or 4 days, the thing, and you want to go diving, you want to do 4 dives a day, and it's kind of hard, and you're bleeding all over the place.
Well, it's bring sharks, so it's a good thing.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of sucks because it ruins your vacation. So I consider those to be, I mean, maybe they're not dive accidents, but like dropping your weights on your foot. I consider that a dive accident because you went diving and you now,
You injured
there goes
yourself.
the you injured yourself.
Okay.
And look, the most dangerous animal in the water is people, right? The most
Yes.
dangerous living things in the water is people.
They do
Sharks
the
and
most damage.
lionfish do the most damage. But outside of the water, the most dangerous thing is the boat. Like when you're
Yes.
coming in and out of the water, like the boat is what gets you there, but the boat is the thing that can kill you the fastest, right? So there's tons of stuff on boats that boats in general are dangerous. I mean, there's
Yes.
propellers and everything, you being in the water, that's dangerous, but just being on a boat, you can imagine those tight, you're sitting on one side, there's like on the bench, it's pretty tight, and you get up and you turn around and your tank smacks someone in the head. And now they're diving with this, like with a black eye the whole vacation.
Yes. Well, you need to understand like the marine life. You need to understand the life on a boat, the life to understand that waves and wind and current and a lot of stuff are affecting your life when you're going scuba diving, even if you have like motion sickness. It's something that really affect you and really affect your enjoyment of diving, and people need to understand that. And you just you know it when you go diving a lot, and you see people that it's the first time on a boat, and suddenly they feel that they want to die, they want to puke,
Have you ever
they
had
feel
have you
bad.
ever had like seasickness on a boat?
Well, me, not really. I had, but it's really minor, and it was serious sea condition when I had it, and I was in a big boat inside if I go out and look at the ocean, I will be fine. But I've seen people that feel so bad, and it's really hard to convince them that the best thing for them is to jump into the water.
Jump into the water. Absolutely,
They don't
100%.
understand. You feel like shit. You say, "Oh, take me back to the shore." And when you tell them, "Listen, jump as you are. We're on an anchor. Jump. I will give you your equipment. Just jump. In a second, you will feel better when you soak in the water and the motion is lower. You will feel better immediately. And when you go underwater, you feel immediately better. And it's hard to convince
It's
somebody; they
hard to
will not
convince
believe
someone.
you.
I've seen it myself. I've had it myself. So I don't necessarily get seasick, but I'm not like I've never gotten sea. I've definitely gotten seasick on a 3 hour ride out.
Anybody will get seasickness in his condition.
Yeah.
Nobody is really immune from that.
So look, but but I had the knowledge that at the end, like at some point, we're going to get to a anchor point and we're going to jump in the water and I'm going to feel sick the whole time and I'm going to like put my gear on and like almost puking the whole time. But as soon as I get down to like 1 meter under the water, it's all going to get clear. So, I think it's easier if you know it's going to happen. It's not a dive accident. It's just something that sucks that is like a medical condition that happens to you or something. It's not really medical, but it's a condition that happens to you when you're diving that kind of makes you feel like it's not a big thing. You're not going to die from it. You're just going to puke a lot, but it
But
really
some
sucks.
people more sensitive to it, and there are treatments. You can do some treatment to avoid
Yep.
this situation. Take it before, take a pill, go in
Take a
and
pill.
now you're immune for 6 hours or eight
There,
hours
there are people who
on
believe in
a
those little
boat.
magnet things that you put. Uh, they claim that it works
Whatever
for
works
them.
for you.
Whatever. I don't care. But boats are dangerous. You work on boats. I mean, we used to work on boats together, but I think you've done a lot more boat stuff. Um, there's rusty things. There's pieces of aluminum everywhere, fiberglass everywhere. Boats, there's a lot of wood and fiberglass with splinters. One little movement of the hand, you can slice your hand open. In general, I tell people if you're going on a boat, sit down and don't move. Don't
It's a
move.
good idea, as much as
Sit
you
down
can.
as much as you can, especially small diving boats. There's all kinds of oils and chemicals on boats as well, right? There's like
Yeah.
fuel and oil somewhere.
You need to make sure that anything that can fall is tied up or on the ground lying. Nothing could fall on anybody. This is the best the first thing to do on a boat to make sure that you don't have anything that can fall. Anything is tied, locked, not
If it
moving.
drops on the floor for 1 second, a wave comes, takes it right out, and it's gone, and it's not coming back. Or a little bit of wind here and there. Um, Wind catches the hat when you're walking, and wind catches your hat, no big deal. But when you're on a boat and the wind catches your hat, and then that hat goes into someone else's face, then
Or into the water
or
and
into the water.
bye
Well,
bye.
losing a hat is not a dive accident. It just kind of sucks.
No,
But look, boats
yeah,
are dangerous, and especially since we go in and out of boats. I mean, people who've dove with me hear this all the time. That ladder is trying to kill you. It wants to kill you. It's a piece of aluminum. It's going up and down. Humans, my finger is about this thick. If the ladder goes up and down a little bit, that can chop a finger.
yeah. A lot of things in the at sea can harm you, and you really need to be alert. You need to know where to put your hands, where you put your legs, and be as safe as possible. If you have something that you can wear to protect yourself, like gloves, like booties, as much as possible to be covered. I usually dive with long suit, even if I will go to the Caribbean Sea at, I don't know, 28 Celsius degrees in the water.
For the
I
protection.
will I will wear something that is long, not hitting me, not a neoprene 5 millimeters, but maybe half a millimeter or maybe lycra, and I will be protected from the sun and from scratches.
That's a that's a
And
good point. So I used to dive like all the other back in the day. We all had Speedos, right? The kind
yeah,
that show as much of your balls as possible. It was
I like the tights, like the brief boxers.
so I like
Always
now
like them.
now I dive with long tights. Even if I have a long suit, the long tights mean that when I take the suit off, I'm not going to get burnt from the sun. Means that I don't get scratches. They go all the way to my booties. Um, and they have a nice lionfish pattern on them. And I also wear the SPF 50 swim shirt, like Speedo or Under Armour, whatever. It
Always,
doesn't matter which one. And
always long
all the way,
sleeves. Always. I wear long sleeve whenever, even if it's really hot in the water. I need it.
because look, that's you come out after a day on the boat, you don't feel the heat because of the wind, like coming out,
Yeah,
and you're in the water and you're out of the water. And look, it's very, very difficult to actually put um, the skin protection on, like the sunscreen, because
yeah,
or whatever cream you're using, natural or whatever, because as soon as you go into the water, the thing starts washing off. The reef
yeah.
safe sunscreen, it's good for maybe for swimming, but when you start scuba diving, it really makes much more sense. And look, most of us have sensitive skin if you're on the water for 8 hours a day and all you do during your regular time is sit in front of a computer and click, you know? So
Talk for
you can't,
yourself.
yeah, yeah, you can't be an office worker, right? You can't
Yeah,
be someone who's used to being in the shade and in the air conditioning and then go out on the boat, twice a year or 3 times a year, and then be for 4 or 5 days on a boat and you're completely exposed to the sun, and then you're going to get a sunburn, and that sucks. It just, the back plate, every time it moves, it scratches you,
yeah.
it like burns you. It's not fun.
I love to use a chicken vest that you have a hoodie on your head,
Yeah.
and every time, I don't care how hot I will feel. If underwater, I will feel that it's too hot, I will take off the hoodie, but I will go into the water with the hoodie on my head. If I bump into something, I have 3 millimeter neoprene that protects
Do
me a
you
little
see
bit.
this? Do you see this? I take
And
it.
sunburn.
I have a hat, and then I take the hat off, put the hood on, put the hat right in here, and then when I come out of the water, I take the hood off and put the hat back on. I have a water hat, of course. I
For
mean,
me, I
look
feel
at this. I'd be
protected.
burnt in 5 minutes.
I feel protected when my head is in a hoodie.
So if you're on a boat or if you're going to the beach in general, like if you have booties on, right, and you're walking in from a shore entry, let's talk about shore dive for a second because there's no boat, right?
Yes,
But in the shore dive, as soon as you get to water that's about knee high, the smallest of waves, and it's going to look like nothing. The wave looks like
they affect
nothing.
you. They affect you.
It's this big, but as soon as it touch, because you have all that weight on you, as soon as it grabs your legs, you're like a turtle going back. And I'll tell this story because I think it's a funny story. I went out of a technical dive. So I have two tanks on my back, like a twin set on the back, plus a deco, in my hand, and I'm like, crawling out of the water, and it's a very popular spot for shore diving, and there's a bus of tourists, and they've just done like a little tour of this, place, and they're all standing on the water looking out. And there's no one coming out of the water except for me. There's like 50 people looking at me, or like, I don't know, maybe 20 people, all right? So, but there's like two buses of tourists there. And I come out, and well, it's heavy, and boom, I fall right back on my back. I don't know what it was. I slipped, I fell like a turtle on my back, and then I rolled over, walked up. And as I'm walking up
And you
to the
see that
car,
everybody are filming.
oh, everybody. And I'm like, yep, that could have looked better. The woman who's like, are you good at this stuff? I'm like, yeah, I'm supposed to be good at this. She's like, didn't look like it. I'm like, yeah, no, it happens. But I didn't break myself. Like if you fall forward and break your face, I was on a boat with somebody and they were like, messing with the gear, and it's like this, right? And they're like messing with the gear. And, there was one little jump in the boat and they smacked their face right on the tank, you know, and it was at that, like at a good angle where where the valve is, because they were like with boom, just like
So
right into the nose,
bloody nose.
bloody nose all over the gear. And look, it stopped 10 minutes later. I mean, but they
At,
had like,
at, at least he didn't break a tooth.
oh man, I again back in the day stories. Instructors used to do the no tank, no regulator with the tank, right? To try to breathe, to learn how to breathe
Back,
out.
back in the days.
They don't do it. People don't do this anymore because a bunch of
Or-
people chipped their teeth and it became very expensive. But I mean, theoretically, you can do it. Like you can grab a tank and breathe off the tank just by doing
Yeah,
this, right? Theoretically.
yeah.
And people have gone and tried to do the thing, but the thing is that we are soft pieces of meat, and everything around us is hard. It's aluminum and steel and high pressure, and boats that weigh a ton falling on your head.
You remind me the thing with the tank that I was traveling after the army service in South America, and I was going into this swimming pool that had like a jacuzzi inside the swimming pool, and they have bubbles going out of the bench. And I was impressing a girl, and I told her I'm going to stop my breathing now. And I stayed like 10 minutes under the water, breathing from the air that coming from the bench. So it's possible. You can breathe from
Many,
the
I
tank.
think many divers, dive masters, and instructors have done that exact same trick in a jacuzzi, um, for various different
She was
reasons. But
impressed.
But usually it involves impressing a girl or having a bet, winning
Yeah,
money or impressing a girl. So usually something like that. And but that's harmless.
yeah,
It's it's plastic. It's okay. So the things that I'm worried about are like, I'll give you another example. I went to a place in South America, go diving, Paddy 5-star resort, beautiful, wonderful. Like they do everything for you, super, super expensive. They do everything for you. And obviously I bring my gear with me and we go diving and everything. And the guy who runs the shop tells me, look, I know you're trying to help, but please don't pick up tanks and bring them to the boat. It's like, look, I'm sure you're tough, but if you pick up 2 tanks and walk them to the boat, we leave 5 minutes earlier. That's it. But if something happens to you and you pull your back because you lifted 2 tanks, or you slipped on the dock, which can totally happen, right? I mean, you got a wet dock,
yes.
you have a lot of weight with you. He's like, if you slip and fall, I lose $200 just from
Your
today.
customer, your paying customer, you should
Like
be able to pay.
I
Don't
have
make
I
yourself
have 10
unable to pay.
I have 10 dive master trainees that cost me nothing. Nothing. They cost me not they pay me to be here. They cost me nothing and they can haul tanks all day. And if something happens to one of them, so he doesn't dive a couple of days. No big deal. He's going to be here for 2 months. Or he has dock workers and he's like, I pay them $10 an hour. And if one of them falls over and gets hit by the boat, there's 3 more waiting to take his place for $10 an hour. And he's like, you are, if you go, and he's like, think about it from my perspective. If you go, you're like the instructor. So I lose 3 people. I lose you and 2 more because they're not going to dive without you. Your buddies are not diving without you. Like you are
Yeah,
the center. He's like, I need you to, and like, so I think that kind of slip and fall accident is something that people don't like. You go to Cancun, you go to Cozumel, you go, you do your 2 tank dive, and then you slip and fall off the dock and smack yourself. It's just these
yeah,
small things, and I consider those to be dive related accidents. It's not you got drunk in Cabo and got stabbed by a jealous boyfriend. This is like you went diving, and because of the diving activity, you did something stupid to yourself, and it's not even
yeah,
in the water. A lot of times, it's not even in the water. It's like coming out of the water, going into the water, you know,
yeah. But let's talk about in the water.
in the water.
How many accidents happen because people took a mask that don't fit them and get water in the mask, and they are not
All the time, all the time,
experienced.
all the
They're
time.
not experienced, and most of the times they did this mistake. They have a problem and they maybe taking water into their nose because they're not really good at separating the mouth from the nose. But the person that takes them, the instructor, the dive master, he's the guy supposed to be a rescue diver that's supposed to get it on time. And if he does not get it on time and does not act correctly, this thing could lead to somebody ripping the lungs or getting the concussion because he's flying up panically from 60 feet.
or
Uh,
or just having a really really shitty day where you have a little bit of water in your mask all the time and your eyes are constantly salty and
yeah,
you
but
just are
but
not enjoying life in general, and then when you come out you're super distracted, and that's where mistakes happen.
so you should definitely feel on yourself if you have a problem with your mask and if you have a situation that you feel that something is bad and you are not able to breathe properly because of this water in the nose, but you need to look at your body. If your body is unexperienced and he has a problem, you need to be able to help him and stop it from becoming a diving accident.
This is where I think we talked about this before. There's a difference between an instructor, a mentor, and a coach.
Yes.
An instructor is someone who certifies you to do something. They give you a course. It's super condensed, right? They have time. You pay them money to get the certification. They teach you to the minimum standard. A mentor who's someone who is answers questions and can really help you like get a direction in life, get a direction in your just in your diving career, like what should I do next? What am I doing next? Like how do I book travel? Like small things. A coach is someone who goes into the water with you, watches you in the water. They're not necessarily your mentor. They're not necessarily your old, your uncle, your big brother who kind of is taking you under their wing. They are more like hands-on coaches. So if you have a good instructor, they will teach you a lot, but they can't teach you everything.
Yeah.
And they can't like force you to learn everything, like memorize it correctly. I mean, you do the course and within a week you might forget something that they told you. And they're like, I told you how to do this. I showed you how to do this. Like we did this together. How did you forget? And it's like, because I did it like twice, man. I did like twice. And then like 2 weeks later, I was doing something else and I forgot that it was, to do it. Or like 2 months later. So I think that's where coaching comes in, because coaching will instill in you that you check the gear for mask fitting. You put the mask on, take a big whiff, and it's supposed to like be hard to take it off. It's supposed to like stick to your face.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the no one does the negative pressure, the vacuum test on regulators. I've seen
Yes.
zero people do that. A wet breathing regulator sucks for the entire dive.
Yes.
And it can cause you trouble. It can just suck. And there's other
Yes.
things. I'm sure you have examples of things like that, right?
Yeah. I wanted to give a tip to
Yeah.
everybody that if you suspect that somebody is having a problem of breathing because they have water in their nose, you won't believe how many dive accidents I prevented by pinching the nose of somebody. Just pinching his nose and let him breathe, even press his purge button in the regulator and just take him up slowly. If he's already in panic, sometimes I need to close my legs on his fins so he cannot swim up and then slowly, slowly get him to the surface. The whole time I will pinch his nose
There
and he's
isn't
breathing because he doesn't have water in his nose.
there isn't a single open water instructor, not one, who hasn't done that at least once in their
Yeah.
career. I
And
mean,
some did it dozens of times.
yeah, yeah. I mean, look, you've certified 1,000 people, yeah, 2,000 people. I don't even know how many people you certified.
1,000. 1,000 I
1,000.
certified as open water and advanced. Yes.
There you go. So, I mean, that there's a difference here. Like
Of course.
someone
So
who's
this is my
certified,
tip.
yeah. So that's a really good tip. I've had it. I've done it twice or three times inside of a course, and I've done it a couple of times outside the course. I in general, um, when I talk about, so it comes back to the importance to prevent, right? Preventing accidents. Part of it is the hand signals that we give to each other. And when I do this to someone, I tell them, do this. And I say, don't open. Just
Okay. Hold.
hold
Hold your nose.
and breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Especially if you do it quickly, if you're not supposed to, but not like in general, you're not, we don't do like breathe in and out quickly. But if you pinch your nose and breathe in and out quickly, it forces your body to breathe only through your mouth and through the regulator without inhaling whatever's inside of it is already inside your nostrils. It'll come out into your mouth and you will swallow it instead of trying to inhale it. So by just doing this and breathing in and out quickly, it prevents the liquid from going into the back of your throat and like giving you the coughing thing. It'll come into your mouth and you'll just swallow it regularly. It comes in through the nose. You can actually try this in the shower or something. You'll see that you can, if you just put the shower here, the water, and not try to sniff it, the water will just come you'll feel it in your mouth. It just happens automatically. It's normal. That's how it's supposed to work. Um, so there's a reason for why this works, and I think it's a really good tip. I think that most accidents can be prevented by being calm and by checking your gear pedantically. Like you have to be, if you have, I have a checklist. Oh, can you see it? No, you can't see it. Ah, there you go.
No.
It's my pre-dive checklist. It's on a slate. It's on a plastic slate. I have it inside my gear. I go through it, and this goes into the water with me. Hood, mask, regulators, tanks, the wing, computers, blah blah blah, all that stuff. I now do I really every time that I dive alone, do I really go through the list? Probably not. But when I dive with other people, I actually take it out as I'm swimming on the back, and I'm like, okay, everybody, check your hood, mask, regulators. All your tanks are on. Everything. I go through the whole spiel, right? Just to make sure. And it doesn't just give
Yeah,
me confidence in it. It just gives other people confidence that it's like if I checked all of these things, I probably prevented most of the bullshit that can happen.
definitely.
And it's not a gear issue. It's rarely a gear issue in the water. By the time that you got into the water, any kind of gear issue that could have happened, you should have already sorted it out before you got in the water.
Yeah.
Masks, regulators, all that stuff should
You
already be
need to make
sorted out.
sure, need to make sure that everything is comfortable to you and not be shy. Say something. Well, something is not comfortable. Let's finish this dive. Take care of it. We'll go to another dive. Don't suffer underwater. You come there to enjoy yourself. This is the
Fantastic.
idea.
That's what I wanted to talk about today. I'm so glad you took the time. I think that dive accidents, people only read about the really big ones, got eaten by a shark, got severe decompression because they missed like 40 minutes of a mandatory stop, or they got some sort of, their lungs exploded because they went up because of whatever too fast. And it's so rare. These are so like, it's so rare that it happens. Usually it's negligence and usually it's a mistake that you did from way before. But Mr. Hammer, I know it's so late for you, but thank you so much for taking the time
Thank
today.
you. I enjoyed it.
Peace, man.
Bye.
Bye.